I'm Shana Lampman and I'm a cancer survivor. Last July, I was by myself at the lake, just hanging out in my pajamas, and I felt something on the side of my breast that I knew shouldn't be there. And I thought, maybe it's a cyst. So I immediately texted one of my friends who happens to be a nurse practitioner, and she wanted me to come in as soon as possible so that we could get it checked out. We did an ultrasound, which honestly, the location of the lump was really far over. It was almost under my arm, so they had to turn me really far to even catch the lump. I had just had a mammogram the previous, I think it was September, and the lump was not there. The radiologist went back and checked. They couldn't find anything as far as a lump or anything even beginning. So it was less than a year that I developed breast cancer. I never in a million years thought that I would have cancer. I exercise 3 times a week. I play tennis. I only drink water and coffee. I do all the right things. I do all the things that healthy people are supposed to do, and avoid sugar as much as possible, all of those things. Never thought that I would have cancer. Everybody around me said the same thing. I can't believe it's you. I can't believe that you have cancer. You're so healthy. And so it was a shock to me. It was a shock to everyone that I had cancer. I found out the day of open house for my kids. I had to go meet teachers and smile and, talk to people all day, knowing that I had just gotten a cancer diagnosis, and, not cry, not act like, everything was crazy for me at the moment. But, and that kind of stands out in my mind because, it was kind of it was a hard pill to swallow. Immediately the day I found out, my friends, I have a couple of nurse practitioner friends, a sister-in-law, they were all, pretty concerned because it was close to home for them. And they immediately started trying to get me in with a surgeon. I was able to get in pretty quickly with Dr. Melton, gave me exceptional care. He was very honest about everything, about, what my options were or what my possible options were. We were able to do a lumpectomy. He took out a few lymph nodes. I did not have cancer in my lymph nodes. It was just the lump. I was still hopeful at that point that I would just have to have a lumpectomy, no radiation, no chemo. As we went through the process, and after, a bit of recovery from the lumpectomy, I found that I did, in fact, have to have chemo, which was almost more of a blow for me than the fact that I had cancer. I really think it was more of a vanity thing. I didn't want to lose my hair. I didn't want to lose my eyelashes and my eyebrows, and I know that's very vain, but it's something that was, a prevailing thought for me. I was not able to, during my cancer journey, after my diagnosis, to really research. I couldn't, I don't know, my brain just could not function to let me. I felt like I was going down rabbit holes when I tried to research. So my family kind of did that for me. My sister went to a lot of my appointments with me, and she asked Dr. Zhu during one of our appointments about the cold cap. I had never heard about the cold cap. And it just so happened that the hospital had already ordered a cold cap system. So Dr. Zhu agreed to put my treatment off for a couple of weeks so that I could use the cold cap to try to preserve my hair. Before my treatment, we met with Karen She walked us through the cold cap process. She was very knowledgeable about the cold cap. Whenever I started my treatments, I had to come in a little bit earlier to do the steps necessary for the cold cap. I feel like they bent over backwards to make everything more comfortable, to make everything better for me while I went through not only the chemo, but also the cold cap. As I was going through chemo, I found that hydration and prayer, of course, were the most important things, the key things that got me through. The first week, my treatment was called the Red Devil. That's the street name for it. I'm not sure of the technical name, but and it's supposed to be the worst one for breast cancer, just the one that makes you feel the sickest and the worst. But the first week I felt pretty awful. Before the second treatment, I talked to some of my friends, and they told me to make sure that I was hydrating. And of course, the staff at Edwards Cancer Center had told me to drink water after treatment, but it's so hard to drink water when you're not feeling great. After I found out I had cancer, I had a lot of people give me their opinions about what I should do. I had a lot of people that tried to encourage me to get second opinions, to go to bigger hospitals, to go to other places to get opinions. But I felt like I wanted to stay in a place that people knew me, that I knew the people, that they knew me, that I was not just a number, that I was somebody who lives in this community who they could see in a restaurant. I didn't want to go somewhere where I didn't know the people. So that's why I wanted to stay at Colquitt Regional, where I knew that I would get the best care that I could get. I had my last chemo treatment in January and my last radiation appointment in March. And I'm proud to say that I'm now cancer-free, and I hope to stay that way. I'm Shana Lampman, and Edwards Cancer Center was my first choice for cancer care.